And I'm going to start. Thank you. So tonight's session is the new Lions portal. And the gist of this, or the focus of this training, is for the benefit of club secretaries and presidents. And of course, anybody else that wants to sit in on this, they're absolutely welcome. There's nothing wrong with that idea. A couple of things to go over before we get underway. If I can get this thing moving, here we are. I originally scheduled a topic on care for this evening. I didn't get any responses. I didn't get any I want to attend RSVPs. So and we had been developing this demand for the portal. So I just decided to replace one with the other. And so for those of you that may have connected anticipating the discussion on care, I apologize. Tried to get the word out as much as I could, but invariably things don't always work the way you expect. The training schedule. I want to talk very briefly about the training schedule. The training schedule is always posted on the MD19 website. It's on the front page, also known as the landing page or the home page. And it's down a little bit, and it's right here. The current schedule is always there. It's a PDF. You can download it and use it at any time you want. It's always current, so don't hesitate to poke around there. This is a lot easier than sending a PDF to several hundred folks in an email distribution. That gets real clumsy and tiresome and so forth. So we've decided to post it on the MD19 website, and I do encourage you to take a look at that on a routine basis, just to be aware of what's going on. People are still coming in. On the agenda tonight, folks, I'm going to be talking about some caveats, some things that you need to know, and talking about references. We're going to talk about how to navigate to find the portal and then get entered, gain entry in there, and then some brief navigation notes. Talk about member records, how to find the spots where you can enter information regarding your members, new members, existing members, etc. And the same is true for the service that you perform. Under the general category of service, they also include fundraising. So that will be included in there. I'm going to talk very briefly about the Lions Learning Center and very briefly about the database that has accumulated, where you can get all sorts of information from the club level right on up through international. And then we're going to wrap it up with Q&A. So that's my plan for tonight. Let's talk about the caveats. As I mentioned, this is not just for secretaries and presidents. It's for anybody that wants to participate in this. And I actually do encourage, for any club officer training, I encourage members or any other officer to attend these things so that you know what's expected of your club officer, your club secretary, your club president, etc., so that you know what's expected of them. And that makes for a better club, a better organized, better run club. The club secretary, administrator, and president can all edit the information that is in the portal. Most everybody can view a whole lot of information, but when it comes down to editing, there's they restrict that to certain lines in certain positions, such as president and secretary and club administrator. Come on. Come on. You're supposed to cooperate with me. I don't provide exact links to places on the web, the MD19 website or the Lions International website. I don't like to do that because I prefer that you learn how to find these things. I may point you in the right direction, but I'm not going to give you a direct link. Other than something that may be specific, and we'll be talking about that later on. But as a general rule, I don't provide exact links to what you need to find, because you need to learn how to find it on your own. I'm not always going to be there to hand it to you on a silver platter. So you need to learn. Many of you asked for a link for tonight's session, and I directed you to the MD19 website, and you found your way here. Good for you. Contrary to popular belief, I don't know it all. So I'm not saying you can't ask questions, because we will certainly entertain questions. It's just that I may not have a good answer. Yeah, that's the way it is. Also, just to confuse things, the folks that run the portal, the programmers, the administrators, they will be occasionally adding or modifying existing components in there. Why? Well, just to confuse us, of course. But a good example of this is recently they added a tool whereby you could export what we used to call the data download, where you could bring in, for instance, into a spreadsheet, a list of all of your club members. And that was missing for the first, I guess, 3-4 months, until just a couple of weeks ago. Now, I don't know if they added that because that was part of the plan, or maybe they added it because everybody was clamoring for this, but they added it. So, it's an example of how things are going to change and adjust and modify as we go along. Expect that to happen. Some more caveats. Some of my screenshots were from a different training session that had been done earlier. And I do this to protect privacy of my fellow club members. The screenshots are, most of them are current and show what we need to see. It's just that there are a few of them from a generic or non-existent actual club. So, and I'll point those out as we go along. This is my first attempt at this one. Normally, I do not record my first go through when it comes to my training sessions. Normally, I do not do that, but I am doing it tonight, of course. But this is my first attempt at it. So understand that in the future, when I do this again, a month or 2 or 3 down the line, and there's probably going to be some changes. So be it. That's the way I learn. I expect tonight's session to last about an hour and a half, maybe more, maybe less. I'm not sure. Again, this is my first time around. And toward the end, this PowerPoint that I'm using, I'm going to load it into the chat box. You can open up the chat and download that PowerPoint onto your computer and use it as you wish, by all means. And again, I'm going to, at the end of the recording, I'm going to be putting this recording up on YouTube, so you can find this thing on YouTube. If you've never been on YouTube, go onto youtube.com, search by my name, Al Hedstrom. You'll find several other Al Hedstroms, but there's only one that's doing the lion stuff. And in there, you will find all of my previously recorded sessions. By all means, have at it. And as I mentioned, please save your questions until the end. References. Of course, the Lions International webpage should be the first place that we look. When it comes to any officer position, there are tools, there are guidance, there is information regarding that position. That should be the first place you look. The second place you look, for those of you in MD19, and not all of you are in MD19 here, for those in MD19, you want to look at the MD19 webpage, because there's some great references, great material for you to use in there as well. Strongly, highly encourage. I also like to encourage poking around the Lions Learning Center, and we're going to be looking at that a little bit later on. There's a lot of great information. It's free of charge, so take advantage of it. Also free of charge is YouTube. Yes, I've got my training sessions on there. Lions International puts training sessions up there. Other Lions from around the world put up different topics as well. Take advantage of YouTube. Again, it's free of charge. Another one that is free of charge is Facebook. If you're on Facebook, I'm not saying you must join Facebook. If you are on Facebook, there are 2 groups that I would like for you to at least explore, at least consider. One is the Lions portal forum. And that particular group is dedicated just to Q&A about the portal that we're about to explore. That's all that they do there. Q&A, great source. I've learned a lot from that alone. Great source. Look it up. Another one, the Global Lions Forum. In the Global Lions Forum, these are generic, general Lions topics of a wide variety. In both of these forums, both of them do not allow such stuff as District Governor Leslie celebrated his 50th birthday. Congratulations to so-and-so on an award. We don't allow that sort of stuff. It's there for Q&A. It's there for information, education, and not for celebration. Just so that you know. As your club's secretary or president, you're a leader. Now, I realize that we all join the Lions Club because we want to help our neighbors. We want to improve our community. Absolutely true. But invariably, we find ourselves in leadership positions. Understand that when you step into a leadership position, you're stepping away from that of a volunteer into a position of obligation. You're saying, I'm going to be the club president, or I'm going to be the club secretary. And when you do that, you are saying that you're going to do the job, that you're going to complete the job, that you're going to do a good job, and not just ignore what's going on around you because you're a leader. Here we are, there. So keep that in mind. And this is true for any position, any leadership position, because you're stepping away from the status of a volunteer, stepping more into a position of obligation. Understand your club expects you to know things. They expect you to know how to do certain things. They expect you to understand how things operate, and they expect you to use the tools of your office. This is an expectation, of course, that is entirely reasonable. Understand the I don't know response must be followed up by learning and finding the answers. Just because, and we all do this, and we all do not know everything. Understand when you have to say, I don't know, make sure you follow that up with finding out. Navigating to the portal. Here we get into the meat of this. At lionsclubs.org, of course. And when you get to that web page, this is the top portion of the page. I've cropped it and zoomed in a little bit because this is our primary method of getting into the Lions portal. And we get into the Lions portal this way. The member login, and then this little prompt comes up. If you do not have an account, or if you've never been on the Lions portal before, if you have an account with the old MyLCI and MyLion, those tools, if you have an account with them, it should have carried over onto this. Maybe yes, maybe no. That's okay. If you do not have an account, or if your information did not carry over, utilize this tool to create a new account. And of course, if it's duplicate information, then they will connect the two and walk you through the process. If you do not have an account, what is necessary to create an account is, number one, your membership number, and your club secretary should have that. Now you're saying, wait a minute, I'm the club secretary. I've never been here before. There's lots of folks that can get this information, including your club president, your club administrator, your district administrator. Even I can look it up. If you need your membership number, by all means, contact any one of those people, or even myself. Also necessary is an email address. If you do not have an email address, you're not going to be able to participate in the portal. Additionally, you're not going to be able to borrow someone else's email address. Why? Because they require all of their users have a unique email address by which you can be contacted. So this, I've been talking about this for some time, and it's starting to happen. In my opinion, and I'm a prognosticator here. I'm going to foretell the future. In the future, you can bet that in order for any Lion to take the position of club president, secretary, or treasurer, that they are going to be required to have an email address. Otherwise, LCI will not recognize them in that position. It's coming. It's coming. Once we get into the Lions portal, we're able to log on. This is the landing page. This is what it looks like. And there's a whole lot of things going on in here. Although this is kind of, sort of, a little bit small, I do want to point out one very, very important element on this screen, and that's this right here. The contact information right there. Send an email. If you have any problems, you can't find something, if something is entered incorrectly and you can't figure out how to correct it, etc., contact these folks. Now, considering we've got approaching 1.4 million members around the world, and they're all calling one phone number to get an answer to their question. So maybe email is going to be a better solution. In talking with a lot of folks that have sent emails to these folks, the Lions support email address, they have gotten a response. Response is not always instantaneous, but they get a response. Don't hesitate to use it. Also on that page is that right there. If you click on that, it will take you to training videos that are created, that are done by Lions International. So they're a little more professionally done than my collection here. But when you click on that, understand you're going to be looking at YouTube. These videos are posted on YouTube for anyone to see, inside or outside the portal. They're on YouTube. And I do not hesitate to recommend that you look at these training videos. They have about a half a dozen of them up there right now on specific parts of the portal and how to do things. But again, please view those training videos. They will help you out tremendously. There's a couple of them that are focused on one particular topic that is very, very important. Again, look it up and you'll find some great stuff going on there. Come on. You're supposed to. There we are. At the top of the portal page is a series of menus. You start off at home, of course, and there's other things, and we're going to be looking at those, except for the shop. We're going to be looking at those. But I do want to point out, in the More menu, whenever you see in any application, any web page, any program that you're using, when you see something, a button, a menu that says More or Options, you'll want to go exploring. In this particular instance, this information that we see right here in this menu is actually contained in other parts on that same web page, like that. And here we find that we can get information regarding your personal membership, information about you, address and phone number and so forth and so on. Excuse me. Information about your club, which is what I'm going to be concentrating on tonight, as well as information regarding your constitutional area. CA is constitutional area. In the United States, we're constitutional area 1. Canada is constitutional area 2. And of course, you can see information regarding international. But I'm going to be concentrating primarily on my membership, my membership. This is personal information. Whoops, try that again. You click on that, and there are actually two methods to get to this information. One, of course, is this right here, and I'll show you the other here in just a second. Excuse me. So when you click on that, it brings up this page. Notice how it's organized, how it's laid out. There's lots of white space so that you won't get things confused and visually run together, etc., which is cool. But again, this is personal information. Notice on the right side, it's got information about you in your membership. So in here, it shows me as an associate member of Pierce County Virtual Club, as well as my regular club, Silverdale Sunrise. And below that are the titles that I've held both in the club and district and multiple district. And my voice is giving out on me. Oh, this is terrible. So this is information about yourself. But again, understand there's more than one way to get here. The other way to get here is that little guy right there. That little guy right there, if you click on it, it brings up this menu. And if you select My Settings, here you go again, personal information. Now this is laid out a little differently than the first method. Excuse me. Laid out a little bit differently, but it's the same information. Up there at the top where it says My Settings, let me do this over here, where it says My Settings, that's information about how you log on to get into the portal. The information regarding Edit My Details means this is a spot where you can change. Now you can change most of the information in there. There are some pieces that you cannot change. You can change your address and your phone number and so forth and so on. One of the pieces that it will not allow you to change is your date of birth. If your date of birth is incorrect because a previous secretary messed it up, you'll have to have your secretary contact Lions International by email to have them change that date. Boy, my voice is getting rough. Pardon me. Continuing on. Back here at the landing page, most of the information that I'm going to be talking about tonight is found here in my club. I can't help it. Bear with me. I got to get a drink of water. Oh my God. Oh. Folks, I apologize. Man, that's kind of a pain. All right. So when you navigate within the portal and you click on My Club, this is an example of what comes up. Now, this Arcola Club is a non-existent club. The folks at Lions International created this to use as an example. And there's a lot of information going on in here, including, I will point out, not just the club name and so forth and so on, but over here with the club members, there's a whole bunch of information that you can modify, that you can change as necessary. Also available, well, let me get into the service activities. If you click on the service activities, it will bring up this. Now, if you need to, I need to admit, Lynn, if you need to make some modifications to a service activity that has already been completed, notice it's a link. So you can make changes here, but there's another place where you can make changes as well. Come on, there we are. The other place is right here. And we're going to be talking about entering and making changes with service activities a little bit later on. Back at club details. It's within the club details that we have this tool for data export. Used to be known as the data download. This is where you can do that. Now, if you're a club president, secretary, or club administrator, of course, this means you can download either as a PDF or into a spreadsheet. Either one. You can download that information. If you are a district governor, you can do the same thing for all of your district. If you're a council chairman, you can download everything for your multiple district as well. Same idea, depends on your position within the organization. Here we are. Member contact information. Let me walk backwards here a little bit. The club details. I want to walk backwards, and I've made my way over here to the member contact information. So if I need to edit any of my membership stuff coming down, if I need to edit this, I need to direct my attention up to the top right up there. And from there, I click on edit. Actually, I click on that menu. And from the menu, I can export that. So this is the steps that you can do for your data download. Understand that if you walk through this process, you can either download the PDF report, or you can download it as for a spreadsheet or a database. Wow, this is terrible. I rarely have this problem, but it's certainly with me tonight. Understand CSV, the format CSV means that it will download into either a spreadsheet program, no matter what spreadsheet program you have, or a database program, no matter what database program you have. All of them recognize this format called CSV. Most of us are using Excel. And if you're using a later version of Excel, and I'm talking about later than 2010, I think it is, you want the XLSX version. Motoring over to club statements. So the club statements brings up this information. And although it appears I cropped it off over here on the right-hand side, and it appears I cropped it off. There's a tool by which you could download the statement. And this is for Lions International, not your district or multiple district. These are the dues it's a statement that provides information regarding the dues you have that you have to pay. Wow. All right. If we direct our attention to the club service activities, this is what comes up. Now, this will show you all of your recorded service activities. I'm not sure how far back it will show you, but it will go a long ways back. Notice I have circled here. This is how you use the sort tool. You can sort them by start date. You can sort them by title. You can sort it by end date. The record type, even the record type, because this is where you have your fundraising activities as well as your service projects. So you can isolate them that way. So that's how you can navigate around to find what you need to find. Club financial details. And this is just static information. It's not a statement. It's just static information about the statements that were the statements that were lately generated, and where you stand with International regarding your finances. Returning back over here. Boy, oh boy. This is terrible. I am not enjoying this at all. And now I need to blow my nose. Wow. Okay. Back over here to member activities. When we're working with this, we've got a series. Let me go back. You click on the member activities, the view that actually, let me back up. This is a screenshot from the old club that does not exist, the Arcola Team Club. So this was Lions International's example that they used in their training video, when you actually click on member actions over there on the right side, this is the menu that comes up over there on the right side. Not just view the club officers, but all these other elements as well. Harry's trying to get in. So you can work with all of these. And when you click on club members, manage club members, this is where you can add, drop, transfer, etc. Again, just like with, as I mentioned earlier, with your personal information, when it comes to editing information that's already been established in the database, certain items, certain fields you cannot change. Again, you have to coordinate with Lions International to get those changed, like date of birth. I will say one other thing regarding date of birth. With the old system, for a long time, a secretary could add a new member in and not plug in the information regarding date of birth. As a default, then, Lions International, with their database, had it set up that if the secretary did not plug that information into the appropriate field, it defaulted to the 1st of January, 1900. Several years ago, they changed it to default 1st of January, 1917. There are still Lions records on Lions International website database where their date of birth is recorded as the 1st of January, 1900 and 1917. Still there. I doubt I'm sure that very few, if any, are still with us. Again, my apologies. Moral of the story. Please, secretaries, go in, review the records on your membership, not just the date of birth, make sure that all the information is accurate. You have the opportunity, this is where you can navigate to edit their information. This is where you can transfer the member. Occasionally questions come up regarding transfer. The transfer must be initiated by the first Lions Club secretary, transferring a member to another Lions Club. And the conclusion is the second Lions Club secretary picking up, acknowledging that transfer, and becoming part of the new club. So it's both sides have work on this. It's just like we had before. Nothing really changed there. There we are. When it comes to managing your club officers, understand that, of course, say, for instance, you want to create a new assignment. You've, for whatever reason, your club treasurer has moved away and you need to plug in someone else in there. New assignment. Yeah. So you opt for create a new assignment. And thinking about this just now, you probably have to end the assignment of the previous treasurer before you can assign a new one. And then, of course, it's going to ask for what year is this new assignment, current or upcoming, and is this for an officer or administrator? This is where you can assign the club administrator. Technically, they're not an officer. They're an administrator. Or you can have a title that is officially recognized by Lions International, or you can create your own. Yes, you can create your own club officer with a title that is not recognized by Lions International. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe a tad unusual, but you can do that. So that's kind of cool. Back over to that menu, managing delegates. This is delegates that are going to be attending convention, either district, multiple district, or international convention. Depending on the size of your club, determines the number of delegates you can have attending. I shouldn't say it that way. Determines the number of delegates that can vote at these conventions. You can have as many members participating in the conventions as you want. But when it comes to voting, I think it's 1 for every 10, as I recall. But this is the method whereby you assign the delegates so that when that person arrives at the convention, for instance, international convention. International looks it up and says, aha, I see, here you are, recognized, assigned as a delegate, and they go through the process and things are good. I got to do this again. Same is true with the district and multiple district. Good. Taking a look at the club actions. The club actions are actually several things. This is where you get those membership cards. Who was it? Somebody called me the other day and asked where they could get the, he phrased it as a dues card. I'd never heard of a dues card before. Apparently in his club, that's how they refer to the membership card. You don't get the membership card until you pay your dues, so therefore it's your dues card, I guess. This is where you can get your membership cards. Delegate confirmation letter, a great idea. Have it on paper so that the delegate goes to the district or multiple district or international convention, and there's the document in case there's any problem at all. Various reports are available here. Now, these are the club membership reports, service reports, etc. This is where you can create a club branch. Takes about 10 minutes. And you don't need the district governor's approval. Create a new application. Now, this new application is for a new club that you're going to be sponsoring. And then, of course, the last one is to edit the club details. I do want to point out, within the reports, you've got several reports that are available. There's a bunch of reports that are available. And it's a matter of going down the list and selecting which one you want. When you select one that you want, it's going to, depending on the type of report that you're collecting, will have different options for either downloading, viewing, or printing. So again, it depends on the one that you want. For sponsoring a new club, yep, pointed that out previously, good. All right, back to the home page or the landing page. What else do we want to look at? Well, on the Lions portal, this is where we record service. And if you click on that little menu thing, it opens up this. Now, I know you would think that a menu would have more than one item. I know, it only has one item. So fine, you select My Activities and it brings up something like this. Now, this is where you can create the activity. That little button over here on the left side, little button, it's actually quite sizable. This little button over here is where you can create a new activity. And these links, because they're in blue, these are links so that you can edit or change them as you need. When it comes to creating a service activity, it's going to walk you through a series of menus. These are very simple, easy to understand. And I like the fact that they are brought up in separate little dialog boxes so that you don't have a lot of choices with each of them. Instead, they break them down into small steps and keep us on track. So you create a service activity. If you're creating one that has not been set up by Lions International, for instance, then of course, and even those that have been, excuse me, this is where you can assign the name for that activity. Even the ones that, come on, mouse, cooperate with me. I'm trying to get onto my other screen and suddenly my mouse doesn't want to, there we are. My mouse doesn't want to cooperate with me. So this is where we assign the name that goes with the activity. And from there, good, this is where we assign the type of activity: donations, fundraiser, meeting, service project, meeting. Yeah, your club meetings. This is where you can record activities regarding each of those. And depending on the activity, there's going to be a variety of different items to fill in, depending on the activity. If it is a existing activity, notice up there at the top right, and it's going to be over there on the right side, two choices for edit or delete for those that are already in place. For new ones, of course, you start filling in the blanks. There are some items in here that are required in order for you to complete the report, some that are optional. It's a matter of going down and filling in the blanks. And when you're done, when the actual activity, whatever it is done, there's a little guy right here. You want to make sure that that's checked, and that way it goes into the records. I want to talk about very briefly about training or learning. This is information that's available through the portal. Now, when you click on the training tab, it opens up this dialog here. And notice it's broken down into three sections: online, international, and local. Online, I'm going to be talking about that. Oh, and I should have mentioned when you click on that, this dialog is open in a separate tab within your browser. So the first tab is where you've got your portal. You click on learning, and it brings up this in a separate tab, broken down into three sections. I'm going to be talking about primarily the online training. The international institutes, the ones that are scheduled, are going to be available here. These are links that will bring up information and applications. And then underneath, and I don't have any on mine, underneath that, your district and multiple district GLTs can input training that is available for your district or multiple district and have it displayed down here. It's up to your GLTs, district and multiple district, to put this information in play. For the online training portion, of course, you click on the Go, and from here, it opens up this dialog here. Now, initially, at the home, it's going to have generic information about this. The real point of this whole thing is you want to click on the content library. You want that because that's where your information is. That's where you can start your courses. Again, free of charge. And it brings up this. Now, depending on how the information is displayed, is relied upon, is controlled by these right here. Sorting by different measures, or by displaying by a list, or what are called tiles. It just comes down to personal preference. It really does. These are pre-recorded. These are interactive, and you can take them at your convenience. Most of them will last a half hour to 1 hour. I don't think there's a couple that last more than an hour, but most of them less than. Take advantage. It's available. Returning back over to the homepage. Reports and insights. Understand that this is information that resides within Lions International. This is a database, and you cannot mess up this information. Just by clicking accidentally, you're not going to delete or modify anything. This is read only. But the way you read that, lots of options here. They've got the dashboard, which is where most folks, including me, that's where I usually start. We've got insights for the district governor. This is where the insights of district governor, this is where you can get information on the district governor's goals. Yeah. Insights learn and training for just working with the dashboard here. KPI metric reports, and these are pre-assembled reports on a variety of different scopes. KPI stands for key performance indicators. And then, of course, membership reports. And with membership reports, you can actually dig into membership to find what's going on. Now, understand here in the database, there's a number of things going on. I want to point out that the way that I got to where I'm at, on this screen here, was I was working with, first of all, I had selected membership up here, and I had selected constitutional areas. No, I didn't select it. I selected it from over here. Yeah. So I selected that constitutional area right there, constitutional area 8, which is Africa. And from there, I can drill down to find out what's going on with membership by individual clubs around the world. Kind of cool. You can also dig up this information in this manner. From the district goals, you search by well, let me bring my mouse over here. First by constitutional area. If you're familiar with how the GATT is structured, you can do it by GATT. I did it by constitutional area, which of course constitutional area 1 is US, and then multiple district 19, which is mine. And then within multiple district 19, I selected district 19N. Leslie Chassis, when he developed his goals and uploaded it to Lions International, this is where it resides. Now, granted, this is in a chart form, but of course it's got numbers with each of these as well. As the year goes on and information is updated, for instance, membership, and club secretary enters new membership information, the member numbers are going to be changing as information is assembled, new members, new clubs, etc. So this is a very, very neat and convenient way to find out what's going on within your club, within your districts, within your multiple, even internationally. You can walk it through that way. What's my time check? My time check is almost an hour. I was expecting this to take longer. Okay, understand that what I've discussed here in the portal is not all of the stuff that's available in the portal. And I do recommend that once you get in there, that you do some exploring. Understand, you should be careful if you're in an editing screen. If you're not in an editing screen, then of course you can poke around and wander through. It's not a big deal. How do you know if you're in a screen that is editing? If there is a button toward the bottom that says save or cancel, 2 buttons side by side, you're in an editing screen. If you didn't mean to get there, if you're not supposed to be doing that, exercise that cancel button. It's there for a good reason. And of course I'm going to, oh yes, I need to load into this, into the chat, this presentation that you're looking at right now. I'm going to load that into the chat, and I need to, there it is. Now, this file, this PowerPoint that I just loaded into the chat, you can open the chat and you can click on that and it will download onto your computer. Use it as you wish. Understand also that this PowerPoint is quite sizable because I've got a whole lot of graphics in here. And because it is sizable, it is a large file. With large files, I cannot send them as attachments via email. So if you need to see this PowerPoint and you miss the opportunity here, let me know. There are other ways that we can do this. I'm looking at a question. What access to club member information does the MD marketing chair have? When I was district marketing chair, I could view all the clubs in all of the clubs and members in the district. I don't know. I don't know. As MD marketing chair, there's one way to find out. Do we need to update our minutes from our meetings? Mr. or Ms. iPhone, I'm not understanding your meaning. Do we need to update? Can I find other? Now I got a bunch of them flowing in. Looking at the note from iPhone, do we need to update our minutes from our meetings? I don't know. Lion M from Victoria Lions. Can I find other membership chairs from other lions within my district? I don't know. I would recommend when you go into the portal, you look at information, the third button, large button that said My CA, start exploring from there. Drill down to your multiple district, drill down to your district, drill down to and then look for officers for that district or multiple district. I suspect that's where it's going to be hidden. Am I able to print a report of all our services activities for the year? I would like to share with the club. Good idea. I don't know. I know I can print off one at a time. I don't know if I can print off a summary, but there's one way to find out. Simple question. How do I do a simple MMR report? MMR, understand MMR stands for monthly membership report. There is no more MMR. You report membership activities, gains and losses as they occur, not by month. Another message. I got a simple, how do I do it? Not necessarily. Yeah, thank you. Giving that so. Yeah. Do we need to attach LC minutes to our monthly? Well, now that's a good question. Understand that if you attach the minutes to your regular meetings or board meetings, if you're able to do that, it means that other people can read it. Who can read it? It's very possible that that members outside your club could read it. I'm guessing here. I don't know. Try it. See what happens. Run an experiment. That was from iPhone. iPhone, tell me who your name is. What your name is. Who am I really talking to here? All right. I'm going to allow participants to unmute themselves. Good. If you want to ask a question verbally, open up your microphone and talk to me. Julie Taylor.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Starla Audet. I'm from Cool Scene Lions Club. I'm president. And I have been traveling around this portal for about a month, and I've become quite familiar with it. However, because we had a late election, I did not get listed in as president, nor did my secretary, so on. So it won't let me do a thing. And I called. I've sent it in twice. I don't know what else to do. Any answers?
I suspect, as I understand it, by reading other posts on the Facebook group, I understand that the way to do this is because you're not recognized as a new secretary, that the old secretary is still recognized. Have the old secretary go in and make those changes.
Okay. Well, I'm the new president and the old secretary, so I'll try that.
I've been trying to. You're quite welcome. I've been trying to process a transfer, carried out the process portal from my end, but the other has not been able to complete. He's not much for internet sites. How should I proceed? It seems to me that the other club secretary is going to need some hand holding. And this is, a problem that we've been having for a long time. So work with that new secretary or the secretary over on the other side and walk him through, maybe even do a Zoom meeting with him. The club secretary can carry out the transfer. That's right. The club secretary or club admin can carry out transfer. Rosemary, you got your hand raised.
Yeah, so someone in the chat asked about printing their MMR, and I spoke at the international convention. I went and spoke with the service team, the team there about the portal and how to get our monthly membership reports printed out.
Okay.
And I walked through it with them and was able to print it out as simply as ever. Like, it's very intuitive. But when I try to do it, it comes up and says, I'm sorry, this information hasn't been updated or something yet. But when they did it and they used my access code, they were able to print it. So I think she said that it might have to do with what like platform you're using, whether you're using like Chrome or Firefox or what you're using. They were using Firefox, and for some reason, maybe it's not working properly on Chrome. They also said that you might need to go through and clear your cache in order to get that information to show up. So when you're printing reports, if you're having issues, do not hesitate to call and talk to them to have them help you walk through it. Because it was, for some reason, it's not always showing up and they don't know why.
Yeah, yeah. The thing about clearing your cache is a technique that's been around for a long time. Absolutely. Whenever something weird that you expect to happen does not happen, or something weird happens, one of the first things you want to do is clear the cache. Bob Elliott, talk to me.
How do I know for sure that I've downloaded your presentation?
Are you able to see it?
It doesn't look like a link in the chat.
Did you click on it?
I did.
And what did you see?
Nothing.
I'm going back up here. Okay. When you point at that little rectangular box, when you point at the name, at the top right of the box is a little down arrow. Click on that down arrow and download.
I don't see.
At the end of the word chat.
Oh, right here?
It's in the chat.
Okay.
The PowerPoint, and you point at it, and at the top right, at that rectangular box, for that title of the file, there's a little down pointing arrow. Click on that guy.
Yeah.
I did. Okay.
Okay, and from there you save it onto your computer, and then you use it as you wish.
I don't
Send
see.
it to yourself.
Oh, send it to me.
Yeah.
Bob Uhlman.
You just have to put.
Yeah, Al. It was mentioned Tuesday night at our meeting that in entering activities on the service report, they're not able to determine or figure out how to report or show pictures. Is that not available now, pictures?
As I understand it, not yet. As I understand it, they want to add that, make it available. But as I understand it, it's not yet available.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I've got a note here. Some of our new and old club secretaries presidents are told they do not have permission to edit or add any way to get the support team to understand the problem. Anyway, and the way to get the support team to understand is to explain, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Communicate the best way you know how.
Oh, if the district has a district administrator, which I've had to use for some clubs here, they can add the membership for that club if you send the district administrator the information. I've had to do it for at least 3 clubs here in I.
I keep forgetting about that. Yes, your district admin is an excellent backup. Thanks, Dib. Other questions?
I sent you a chat about the difference between a service activity and a fundraiser. Can you just tell me what the basic difference is? We have a kitchen and we sell hamburgers and hot dogs. I put it in as a service activity because we're actually providing a service to whichever organization has contacted us to have our kitchen at their event.
Right.
But I put it under when I fill out the form for the service activity, I put funds raised. because that's what we do. We make up to $1,000, say, put it in under funds raised.
Sure.
Yeah,
If your activity brings in money, it's a fundraiser. On the
yeah,
other hand, many times those fundraisers spill over into the category of service activity as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
So, whichever you think is most appropriate. I'm not sure. Can you? It's very possible to report the same event under both different categories. Try that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Wei Yu wants me to plug in the PowerPoint again. Well, okay. I don't see the link for the PowerPoint. All right, I'm gonna put it in here again. Stand by. Okay, it's uploading. Oh, wait a minute. I need to do that again. My apologies, because I sent that just to one person. There we are. Enter. Okay. Okay. So I've entered it in there. It's uploading now. Good. Now it's available. And in the chat, if you point at the title, Lion Portal, at the top right of that little rectangular box is the download button. Debbie Mansell, talk to me.
Yeah, sometimes when you're having trouble doing a function, you have to make sure that you have your correct title there. So some Lions have more than one title. You could be a zone chair and a club secretary. So you have to go to My CA and you choose your title and make sure that you are working under the correct title. And then you can do the function. You may be, if you were a zone chair, doing zone chair work, but it won't allow you to do your club secretary work then. So you have to switch back and forth, and that's found on the My CA. And there's just a toolbar there that you choose your title. So
Very
check-
good. Very good. Thank you. Yes. And I should have included that. There's another example. I should have included that in here. So yes, I'm going to make that modification. Thank you, Debbie. Excellent. Other questions? I'm thinking for dues, the club statements page within the portal shows only international due statement. Yes. So where can I find the district due statement? Talk to your district governor. There's another question regarding district. Let me back up here. Who is the district 19N district admin? I don't know. Leslie would know.
I know.
Who?
So it's going to be Lisa Akita, but
Oh.
Leslie is getting the paperwork filled out and sent to LCI, and then it takes a little bit of time to get that back, but she eventually will, and they're working on that.
Huh. Why don't they do it through the portal?
I don't know.
I'll have to talk to Leslie.
We just had a cabinet meeting for 19L, and at the cabinet meeting, they actually decided what the district dues were going to be. So
Okay. Yeah.
but $2 per person for 19L.
Right. So, and it would be up to the district treasurer to send that information out. Now, do you do that via MD19? I don't know.
So,
Okay.
I have a comment, not so much a question, but, one of the things that when I was training our upcoming, service chair,
Yeah.
I was able to have her go on and enter all the activities and everything for a couple months before the duties turned over.
Okay.
And so what it made me realize is anybody can enter a service activity. And I thought that was pretty cool that if it now puts it on our club members, that they can put in any service they do. They can just log in, add their service. And then what happens is who's ever in charge of that site, so your secretary or your service chair or your president or whoever, can go in and actually approve it and mark it as report complete. Where any member can't mark the report as completed, but they can at least submit all the information.
And that was true with the old system as well. Yes. Very good. So yeah, I need to add
Just
that in there too.
underutilized though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need to add that in. Thank you. Other questions? I've stunned you all into silence.
Totally.
Al, maybe we've talked about LCI dues and district dues, but MD-19 dues are sent to the treasurers by the MD office. So that's why it's important for a treasurer to have an email address that is correct. And if your treasurer doesn't, make sure your secretary or president's email address is there, because that's the only way you get the MD-19 dues.
Yep.
Other than your zone chair will get them as well and chase you down if you haven't paid them.
And depending on the zone chair, not only will he chase you down, but he'll beat you about the head and shoulders. District dues.
Also, a weird
Yes.
thing on that is that with the needing to have your correct email address, my husband and I, because when we joined, we had a joint email address for the family. And when I went on to be a delegate for voting, it got really weird because it kept saying, we can't make you a delegate. So I went in and changed my email address and it let me become a delegate. But one of the interesting things, as a secretary, when you want to then print off and show proof that you are now a delegate, you actually have to go back in a second time and press a different button that says, oh yeah, print that form, or I want to see that form now, or get that email link or whatever it is to prove that that's the delegate. So even though you did the work, you can't access the form until you go back in and do it again and say, I want to access that form.
Right. And that's called the delegate letter.
Yeah, for the delegate letter. I
Yep.
just thought it was a little bit clunky because you thought you already did it and yet you couldn't find it.
Yeah.
And it tells you, oh, you'll get emailed this information, and it never comes because you didn't go back in and say, oh yeah, send me the email.
I got a note from Andrew Otteson. District dues ordinarily come to the treasurer, yeah, and he hasn't seen it yet, so he asked me to locate. Sounds like it might be forthcoming. Rather than sit back and wait, I would contact the district treasurer and say, where is it? Please send. Lynn Davidson.
Well, district dues were sent out today. I just
Hey!
got mine.
So we have a victim right here. Other questions? Okay. Well, again, when this is all done, the recording, I'm going to be posting it up on YouTube. It'll take a couple of hours to work that process, and you can view it at any time after that. I want to thank you all for connecting in tonight. If there are any other questions that happen to crop up, by all means, don't hesitate to send an email to Debbie Manzel. She knows everything. She's denying it. I know better. But yes, send an email to me. If I don't know the answer, I know the people that do, and we can figure it out. So I want to thank you all and bid you all a very good evening.
Thank you, Al.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Al. Bye.
Thanks, Al.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you, Al.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you all. Always a pleasure.